what advice do you have for college students trying to pursue their faith? Before you start answering, I want to say congratulations. There are college students here, there are college students online, there'll be college students all morning long. This is graduation time. And I've seen all kinds of celebrations of graduation. Congratulations. If you are a college student or a parent or a grandparent, what a wonderful landmark in life. And so I want to say a word of congratulations. Now, any ideas?
4 pieces of advice.
Oh, wow.
Piece number 1, it's one that we've said a million times here at Concordia. Be in the what?
Word.
Yeah, this is, it doesn't really matter how old or how young you are. This is why we read children's Bibles to kids, and we have adult Bibles for adults. We want people to be in the Word. And so please, take that moment, start the habit in college, because if you begin it there, it'll last the rest of your life to spend 5 minutes in the morning in the Word. That's piece of advice number 1. Piece of advice number 2, be a person of prayer. Again, this is another one of these habits where if you get into it, if you learn how to have a conversation with God when you're younger, you're going to keep on having conversations with God when you're older. If you don't learn that skill, you can always learn it no matter how old or how young you are, but the longer you wait, sometimes the more scared you become. You wonder, do I know how to do this? And so learn how to do that now. Piece of advice number 3. Find some great brothers and sisters in Christ with whom you can be in community with. You can pray for each other, you can care for each other, and you can have a good time. It's kind of nice to know that you're not the only one. One of the things that I hear over and over again from people who will go to Christian gatherings was, it was simply nice to see other people who share the same faith that I do. And then piece of advice number 4, not only get a community group, but also get an accountability group. The jokes about college are legion, and the jokes about the mistakes that you make in college are legion. And a lot of those mistakes, in fact, by God's grace, really all of those mistakes are forgivable. Some of them are very hard to recover from. And so if you just have someone tapping you on the shoulder every once in a while saying, be careful, keep your integrity, watch your step, follow Jesus in everything, that can be a big blessing.
That's a great answer. And by the way, as you were answering, I'm thinking to myself, that's not just for college students, right? That guidance is for anybody who wants to grow in their faith and wants to cling to their faith in a world that is oftentimes trying to drag us away from our trust in Jesus Christ. I love the comments about being in the Word, about being in prayer. I was talking to my mom yesterday. My mom is a prayer warrior. And when I called, I actually woke her up from a nap. And she was saying to me, well, I was just sitting here and I was chatting with Jesus and it was so delightful I just drifted off to sleep. But that's a person who's been talking to Jesus for a long, long time. It becomes this delightful conversation. That's what prayer is intended to be for all of us. I also loved what you said, Zach, about being in relationship with other people and having accountability. Last night, Julie and I were at the wedding of Kara Espy. Rick is on our church council. Kara is one of the young ladies who grew up here at Concordia. And I was delighted to see, not only was she marrying a faithful Christian man, and she devoted to Jesus herself, but the people who were around them were people that they've grown up with, and they've continued to maintain those relationships where they have brothers and sisters who've known them since youth group, they've known them since school and grade school, they've known them on mission trips, and now they're continuing life together as friends. Those relationships are so precious, and they're so easy to make when you're in college. Now, just one more thing that I would say to add to what Pastor Zach had mentioned. In college, there are lots of questions that come up, lots of challenges to our faith. Don't shy away from them. Don't run away, and don't assume that those questions can't be answered. Ask those questions and engage those doubts and pursue the answers, because there are answers to most of them. Just because you don't know the answer, just because your professor may not believe that there's an answer, it doesn't mean there's not. And so start here. Pastor Zach and I will always do our best to answer questions, but there are also some great resources, and one resource that I know Pastor Zach will agree with is Tim Keller. Timothy Keller is an amazing Christian author, and if you're struggling with questions about God, the book we've talked about before, we have some out in the entryway, The Reason for God, is an outstanding place to begin to process and think through and dig in to some of the tough questions of faith.